Here are my favorites, guys. Here are my favorites. My favorite parts, people of Final Fantasy XVI. Best parts. Let's talk about the best parts, I think. So the best parts of this include a lot of the gameplay. I think the gameplay was endlessly fun. Endlessly fun. I loved it. I loved it. Like, I loved the variety that you could do with the iconic abilities. I loved the power that Clive has. Like, it truly feels like exciting, and the dodge mechanic was like 100% so good. 100% so good. I loved it. So like, I could literally sit here for hours and just play this game. It's so fun. Next best part is the relationships between characters. I think that is so important. I will point to this every time, but if you've played RE2 Remake, there are these two characters that like have no relationship with each other, and when she died, it felt almost forced and didn't feel good. And so with this, every moment mattered a lot because everyone cared for each other, and everyone, like, one person's death was gonna affect so many people. And to me, that is really good character creation. That is really good relationship building and setting the foundations of that. So beautiful. And most especially to Clive, because that's an important part of his character, an important part of the ending. But it's important to see how much he cares for his brother and everyone around him. Jill, the hideaway, how everyone looked to him for help and guidance and support. To me, that was also really important. So to go along with that character depth, I don't think anybody here truly was a stock character. You know what I mean? Nobody here felt like pulling from an archetype. Everyone showed strength in some way, everyone showed weakness in some way, and that is how you make a 3D character. Fascinating lore. I love the lore in this. I think the lore is so endlessly fascinating, and the fact that they knew it was jam-packed, that they had to do the whole like active battle lore thing, or active lore thing, was so good. Harpocrates was great to bring in. It reminds me of Final Fantasy X when they had Makin. Wonderful to have the lore goat around. And I was giving Vivian earlier at the beginning of stream, but Vivian is also super duper important, and that to like keep you on track of what's going on in the current day. So I think that was really cool. Now let's talk about the icon fights. Let's talk about the icon fights, dude. Let's talk about the icon fights, because this game's icon fights made it. This game's icon fights made it. Like, every single one was like earth-shattering. Like, every single one I felt to my core, to my being. Like, it vibrated my bones and like probably like turned my bone matter, my bone marrow into a gelatin-like substance, dude. Like, so good. So good. I cannot tell you enough good things about it. And I'll tell you which one's my favorite when we get to it, but oh, wow. The fights, the icon fights were massive and so good. And the OST, the soundtrack to this, I think every stream there has to be a moment where I like just throw my head back and go, oh, soundtrack, oh, soundtrack, oh, soundtrack. Oh, wow, the music in this, incredible. The choir, the orchestrations, the swells and the crescendos all added such amazing ambiance to this. I think this was the right choice too, making it like such a high fantasy choir. Too good. Okay, things I did not enjoy as much. Worst parts. I think I already had a huge dissertation about the side quests in this game at the beginning of stream, but I will add this. I think that the side quests could have been better. I think I am a fan of side quests. I like them. Catch me doing like every single side quest in like an Elder Scrolls game, dude. Like, literally, I love side quests. But in this one, sometimes I'm like, why the f am I doing this? Like, literally. I think that it would have served it better had there been side storylines that like continue, like that mattered, you know what I mean? Like, I was saying it earlier, like the Lubor stuff, Lubor and Isabel, Quentin, and Martha, like those side quests, I think were fine. I think those were what the side quests should look like. But there were certain ones that I was like, I don't care about this character. Why am I doing this? You know what I mean? So to me, the side quests should have like, should be connected in some way, or they should be consequential in some way. I would have loved it if in the final battle, like the side quests like determined what you saw. You know what I mean? Like in Final Fantasy VII, the amount of side quests that you did determined the kind of dress you got, determined some certain cutscenes. To me, all of that, I think, could have made the side quests better, in my opinion. And talking about side quests, along the same vein, there are certain missions in the main story that kind of really took me out of it. Like, there was one where, the ones where you had to, like, build the Mithril engine. I don't know. That wasn't it. It was kind of boring. Like, there are certain missions like that where, like, the action is here, and, like, certain slow moments, you're like, oh, yeah, the slow moment is, like, beautiful and powerful. But then it goes all the way down. Like, it really just takes you out of it. At least took me out of it when I had to, like, find, like, and fetch these things for somebody for a main story. I don't know. That kind of took me out of it, to be honest with you. So certain plot points I was not there on, but still overall, I think if I was to give you a percentage, I would say 90% of it really truly mattered and was beautiful, but 10% of it we could have done without. You know what I mean? 10% of it we could have done without, and I think the story would have still would have been really beautiful. You know what I mean? So that's my thoughts on that. Third thing is, I think this is a game that you can truly muscle through. I've in previous parts of this playthrough, I've told y'all what I think could, how I think the combat could have been better, and I've talked about how they could have added status effects, so like confuse, poison, and all that stuff. They could have made that matter more. They could have made elemental weaknesses and elemental strengths matter more. Like, for example, in Final Fantasy 12, certain like things, certain like enemies, certain fiends were just completely invulnerable to like certain attacks. And I think they could have done that here as well. I think they could have gotten away with that. I think like making Garuda's like minions invulnerable to wind would have made it endlessly more difficult. But I think that would have added like a level of strategy. Another game that does it really well is Crisis Core. Crisis Core does the status things and the elemental weaknesses things. I think that could have really served this game really well. Yes, that's exactly the word, is filler. Filler. Like, I think that a lot of those honestly, truly felt like filler. And I don't think they needed to fill this, like, stuff this full. They already had a really great story. They didn't need to add filler to this, in my opinion. Next thing is not a lot of enemy variety. I think at some point in the game, I kept finding the same kinds of enemies with just a different skin texture, you know what I mean? Like, in one area they're a chocobo, and in another they're a raptor, you know what I mean? And at some point all the bosses were kind of the same and all that stuff, so I kind of wish that there was more enemy variety, but that's just me. I think a game that does enemy variety really well is Final Fantasy X and 7 Remake, just because of how much shorter it is than this. And the last one goes along with my first thing, but I wish that there were certain side storylines that I wish I could just like sink my teeth into, right? I wish I could have like done something for the people of Rosaria, a little bit more than what with the Martha thing. I wish I could have done something more for Sandbreak and the Dominican Republic. Like, in my brain, what I'm thinking about is like a kind of like rebuilding missions. So like, I'm thinking about like Far Cry, for example, where there's like a conquest and rebuilding stuff you can do. So that's a personal thing. That's a personal preference. Or God, what's that called? Saints Row. Saints Row also does that, where they have like rebuilding side missions. That would have been really cool. That would have been really fun. But that's just a personal preference. Okay. Favorite character? Unsurprising. Unsurprising! I love Clive. I love Clive. Clive, I've said it before, is what I think is such a healthy representation of masculinity. I think that Clive is not somebody who is like, Clive is not somebody who's like, you know, he's not a Duke Nukem type. He's sensitive, he cries, he's not afraid to cry, he's not afraid to care for other people. And to me, that is what masculinity is supposed to mean. It's supposed to mean somebody who can be strong, but can also like lay down his load and just like cry and like not be afraid to have close relationships with his brother and with his girlfriend and the people who consider him like a leader, a family member, you know what I mean? To me, Clive is everything. Is like literally everything that is like that I could ever want in a man, but like also just everything that you could ever want in a character. Selfless, amazing hero. One of the best, in my opinion, best protagonists in all of Final Fantasy. Yes. Least favorite character is Annabella. Her. Annabella. She was cool. She had cool moments. But, ooh girl, just the evil in her, the way that she looks down on you if you are not of like pure blood, like her like humbling is not the right word, but like her like talking down to Dion in that way, like treating Clive in that way, oh, really makes my skin crawl, dude. Really makes my skin crawl. Annabella Lesage, mom, ugh. Also, incestuous freak, can't forget. She slept with her cousin. Can't forget that. Can't forget that. Yeah, and I'm also Hoshi, good point that there's no cactuars and tonberries at all. I would have really loved to have seen those two here. Favorite icon, gameplay wise, that I like iconic abilities and stuff like that, is Garuda. In every build I will make of this game, like if in every build Garuda has to be there because of that, like when you stagger halfway, you can like pull them down and like buy you some more time to like work on their stagger. I really like her iconic abilities. Like I always had the claws one and the tornado. Like every single build that I will ever make, like if I decide to like switch up my gameplay, I will always have Garuda. Garuda is so important. But favorite icon in the story is Bahamut. Come on, dude, I love Bahamut. Bahamut is so cool. Not talking about the characters like Dion and such, but like Bahamut is always gonna be one of my favorites. Bahamut, I think if you look at my other PowerPoint presentations for other Final Fantasy games, I think it always oscillates between Ifrit and Bahamut. Like I think in 15 it was Bahamut, I'm pretty sure. But I love Bahamut. I love the Bahamut design in this, like a true actual dragon. So cool. And like that final scene where it was him versus Ultima. Come on, dude. So cool. So cool. And he's also my favorite fight. Like that fight was everything to me. That fight was everything to me. Zeta Flare fighting in the space at some point, getting to fight with Joshua finally was so cool. And you know, I did this fight with tears in my eyes, dude. I love this fight. Now, I was originally not going to add favorite boss fight because it was going to be the same as Bahamut, but my favorite boss fight in this, which I did not add to this PowerPoint, so I'll just tell y'all now, was that Ultima fight. I don't think I have ever put the final fight in my favorite boss fight, but that was everything and more. Everything I could ever want in a final battle and more, dude. Soundtrack was there. Gameplay was there. Taking in bits of my entire journey and feeding it into the final boss. To me, that is what a final boss, a perfect final boss is little elements of your journey are part of the final fight, because it shows you that every moment that you played as Clive, every moment that you did in that plot mattered. And to me, that is why Ultima is my favorite boss fight, because of all those icon moments. You can hear your friends cheering you on. Your friends cheering you on honestly reminded me a lot of X2 as well, where you could hear like Orin and Jecht and Broska in the background. Love you, Broska. And so good, so good, so good, so good. Favorite place was the Hideaway. Y'all know I will always pick my favorite places, like the place I felt most at home, felt really good in, and the Hideaway was exactly that. It was so cool to see all these people come together, really care for one another, call each other family, be there for each other, like have Clive talk to Otto, have the gardeners try to grow something to sustain something for the people, Blackthorn and Karen's like, you know, grandfatherly relationship with everybody. I love it. I love the Hideaway. Least favorite place was Waloed. I don't know. I think at this point I was like a little like, this is where I truly felt the whole like lack of enemy variety. Does that make sense? Because at this point I'm like, oh, it's another version of this fight, you know what I mean? It's another version of the Chocobo fight, it's another this, another that. So I think here's where I truly started to feel that. And also like compared to the rest of, like compared to like everywhere else in Storm, this place was like the dark and dreary area, and so it makes sense why it's like that way, to really show you the evil of Barnabas and of Ultima. But at this point, I was like a little fatigued, and I was like, okay, I'm kind of done, kind of done with this area. I just wish there was like something new there. You know what I mean? The behemoth was the only one that was new here, and I wish there was more. What? This was supposed to say favorite. This was supposed to say favorite, and this was supposed to say favorite. Okay, not least lore dump, but like favorite lore dump was any moment I spent with Grandpappy. Any moment I spent with Grandpappy was my favorite lore moment. He's always so cool, always so kind, and I like listening to him. Except for when he had me f***ing flowers in another continent. That was bullshit. But every other moment with Grandpappy I loved. Favorite story moment, and I think this is gonna stick as my favorite story moment. Dion and Joshua's death is kind of up there now too, but favorite story moment was the brothers reunited. It's the thing that I was chomping at the bit for, rattling the bars of my cage for the entirety of the beginning of the story, was their reunion. And when I finally got it, it was perfect. It was everything I ever wanted for this moment, and I got it. I'm happy. It made me really happy. So powerful. Yeah, favorite guest character was Semi-Prime Joshua. That is indeed true. But Joshua's not necessarily a guest character. He is like permanent party member, and so him is my favorite like party member guest character. He's so good. I really enjoyed him. He has this like one move where he like just like uber blasts them with like this like laser beam. So good. So good. Love you, Joshi. Love you, Joshi. And his like impact in the story as well. So good. Favorite Hideaway member was Otto. Okay, I love Otto. Otto. Like, I think between him, Karen, Harpocrates, Blackthorn, there was just something so wonderful about Otto, and the way that he, like, it felt like Sid Telemon was split into two, right? It became Otto and it became Clive, and Clive took on, like, every role that Sid took on, but Otto is like an indispensable part. Like, the whole thing would break down without him, and he's like the strong rock of this entire operation. He's like the mom. He's the mom of this operation, and it's beautiful to see the scene with him, the cutscene with him, when they were going through like the old records and they found Sid's letter to him. It was powerful stuff. So I really enjoyed Otto. His backstory is really heartbreaking, but also like really reminiscent of how good Sid was to them. And here's some quick favorites. Iconic ability was Diamond Dust. I love Diamond Dust. The impact it has on health and on stagger, unbeatable. And my favorite OST is the Icon fight music. Always so good, so hype, so wonderful. Icon fight music all the way. Okay, so here is my Final Fantasy ranking update. I have played. How many have I played? X, X2, 7 Remake, Crisis Core, 8, 9, 12, 15, and now 16. I have played 9 Final Fantasy games. I have played 9 Final Fantasy games. That is so crazy. I played 9 Final Fantasy games. Wow. I started my streaming journey having played none. Like, the first game I ever streamed was Final Fantasy X, and that was my first Final Fantasy ever. Now look at me with 9 Final Fantasies on my f***ing belt. That's crazy. So, here they are ranked, okay? Here they are ranked. At the bottom of the list is X2. We know why. Next is Crisis Core. I enjoyed my time with Crisis Core. I really, truly did. I actually really enjoyed like the little side missions that you got to do and stuff. They were fun. They were fun. Story was phenomenal with Crisis Core, but these other ones beat it out. 9 is next. I enjoyed my time in 9. It was an enjoyable experience, enjoyable game. And then 12 was also really enjoyable, but 8 beat it out for me, because 8 was something else. I loved 8. I loved 8. I love Squall. I love all my little buddies in this. I love them. Next is 15. This one, okay. The next ones are gonna be, the final ones are gonna be, were so hard to sort through in my brain, because there were certain moments in 16 that dipped like just below 15. You know what I mean? I think they were the really, really slow moments, because 15 is so special with the connection between the boys, but I'm happy to say that 16 did beat out 15 because the relationships mattered more. After this, it's X. X was so important to me. I have not cried as hard to another game on stream as I have with X, because X was so powerful. That ending was so powerful. But I have to say, Final Fantasy 16 did beat it out. Final Fantasy 16 beat out Final Fantasy X for me for the number 2 spot. Because Final Fantasy 16, I think, edged it out by its gameplay. Don't get me wrong, I love the turn-based system. I think that was the best turn-based system was in X. But there was just something so fun about the grandiosity of everything that happened in 16 that I had to, it beat it out for me, and I was honestly debating where 16 was going to be, whether it was going to be ahead of X or whether it was going to be ahead of 15, but I settled with here, because to me, this game was so good, so good, and it really just hit the spot. It just really hit the spot right here, really hit the spot, like, so good, so good. But 7 Remake still beats it out. 7 Remake still beats it out for me. I've called 7 Remake this before in the past, but 7 Remake is one of the greatest pleasures I have ever had as a gamer. To experience 7 Remake is one of the greatest pleasures I have ever had in gaming. To me, everything in 7 Remake just really came together, and it was so beautiful, and I'm so excited for Rebirth. And so, to me, I still have to put 7 Remake above here. We got some Final Fantasy to play today. Just a little bit, just to dip our toes in, because you see, I have been working diligently, slaving away at a stove, working 9 to 5, working away at Final Fantasy 16, just like chipping away at the hard mode of it, because the hard mode of Final Fantasy 16 was not that bad, actually. It was not that bad. It was honestly, if I'm being honest, the hard mode of Final Fantasy VII Remake was so far infinitely harder. I'll say that, but I'll also say that I struggled with a boss last night. And so maybe, I don't know, maybe the final boss that we're going to be fighting today is going to be hard. And so that's what we're doing. We're getting the Platinum Trophy, we're finishing the hard mode of it, and we're polishing a new spot on our shelf to hang it. That's the plan. As you can see, I have gotten all of the abilities except for one, but the only ability that I needed to complete the base game trophy is the base game icon abilities. Just the base game icon abilities. So I didn't need to get ultimate demise. Also, I want to show you guys this. So as you can see, I did not do all of the side quests because that's not the point of the hard mode playthrough. It was just for me to finish it. Also, I did enough hunts just so that I can get this bad boy. Check it out. We finally got the Ultima weapon. That's what I'm talking about! Look at the Ultima weapon. We got the Ultima weapon for Final Fantasy XVI. Ooh, 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 ooh. Also, I wanted to point this out to you guys. So, as you know, after Final Fantasy XVI, we began our journey with through the 8-bit games. And we started with Final Fantasy I. And this guy? Enthroned in sable sky. Drop it low. Chaos in war. Tell him, Lucan. Tell him. Oh, you're still going. I don't need you to keep going. But anyway, Lucan here is actually a reference to Final Fantasy I, the first Final Fantasy, because Lucan is the man that came up with the prophecy that sets forth the heroes of light back in the day. So I think that was a really cool little reference there. I wish y'all could have seen how painful fighting Barnabas Tharmer was. Fighting Barnabas, you guys, Barnabas fighting that man was one of the banes of my existence. I don't know how many tries it took me to beat that man because he kept doing Zantetsuken and I couldn't stop him. And like my the things that I had were not enough. I didn't have it. My loadout at the time was just bad. Also, I am now turned. I do like the Odin iconic ability for this game. I am a believer in the in the Odin iconic ability. I doubted during my first playthrough. I thought it was not very good, but now that I have had a chance to explore it, I am happy as a clam. It's alright, Jill. I'll get us the platinum trophy. Just you wait, okay? Just you wait, okay? I'll get it for us. My friends are my power ass moment. Did y'all know that if you play this game on hard mode, Clive survives? Clive survives, but Joshua still dies. That's the rule.
Your architect.
Ultima has such beautiful articulation. I think he would do really good, like, ASMR boyfriend audios. His O gets me every time. Oh. Ultima does the thing in fanfiction where it's like the O, and then italicized oh.
With my light in your heart, not even a god might stop us. Joshua.
You know, like when I first played this game, couldn't see most of this because I was crying like a little, as anybody would. And so now that I'm like able to see it with a little bit more clarity, it's so beautiful, so heartbreaking. And there's such a really nice thing here, which is that Clive should have been the Phoenix. And so him getting to see Clive now don those wings. It must have been quite the sight.
Thank you, Clive, for being my brother.
See, this is why I was skipping the cutscenes, you guys. I didn't want to subject myself to such torment and pain again. But that's interesting, Aymat. I did not know this. That Ben Starr's father died during the filming of this, and like, that's interesting. That might have informed kind of like what he was going through in this scene. Yeah, this moment is such a twist to the gut, Sung-woo. Such a twist to the gut.
Empty.
That's why it's so important in storytelling to form like such beautiful relationships between people. Joshua's death is heartbreaking, but it makes it even more heartbreaking because it happens next to Clive. And I agree, Sung-woo. I wish that this game had more support. In general, I wish I had more support. I wish I had a bigger fandom. I wish all that for this game. I love Final Fantasy 16. All right, gang. Let's get this platinum trophy, huh? For Joshua. The fact that Joshua is like the most important relationship in Clive's life, I think is also very striking. Like his relationship with Jill and Sid and all that is very important, but his bond with his brother is like is like a foundational part of him. Move, move, move! Right, Ultima, right.
How is it that your will yet endures?
Because it's not so easily broken.
Because my friends are my power, and I'm theirs. Hey, that's my move. I can agree with that. I'm the same way, Sung-woo. I'm much more of a 16 girly than I am a 15 one. Yeah! Here we go! Here's the strat that I've been using the entire playthrough, by the way. Alright, first Ultima form done. Dunzo. First Ultima form done.
You are not a god. You are but flesh and bone. You are not one of us.
There's a scene in The Boys that Maeve, one of the characters, talks about Homelander, and she goes, this is forever gonna be one of my top 3 days because it's the first time I've seen you, she's talking to Homelander, you sound scared. And I think about this as well here. This is the first time I'm hearing Ultima scared. Good try! Good try, but not enough! Don't throw away, Clivey! Yeah! Second form, Dunzo. Got it in before he smacked the shit out of me. Yup. Right. Nice Clivey YV. Hit him with this. Hit him with this. Hit him with what is it, 4 special moves? Special move after special move after special move. And then a little diamond dust. Come on now. Nah, that is my strategy, folks. That is my strategy to a T. Oh, I ate that. I died. What? I was keeping an eye on it. No, I was keeping an eye on it. I was holding back the thingy. Okay, at least I don't have to start all the way back. That's fine. Okay, how do I get away from this? I'm thinking do this? And while he has with the final hit, A Final Fantasy.
The only fantasy here is yours. And we shall be its final witness.
We shall be its final witness.
I said, it's over.
Oh, another one. God, the way that they were, oh, we did. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. The platinum trophy taken by a punch to the face. First try too. Thank you, Aymar. See, y'all know me like falling earlier and like falling into that like that sun-like thing. That was just me. That was part of my strategy. Okay, that was part of my strategy. If anyone ever asks, oh, thank you. If anyone ever asks, it is part of my strategy. I tricked Ultima into a false sense of security, and then I kicked his ass. Oh my god, hold on. Let me take a look at it. Let me take a look at it. Oh, look at the platinum trophy for Final Fantasy 16. Saving video clip. I just want to see it. And thus did our journey end. Oh, golly, I'm so happy. We got another one. This is my 10th platinum trophy. I have a presentation prepared for us, right? On PowerPoint, because y'all know how I do it, and then we'll watch the ending together to just wrap things up in a big old bow. Okay, here is the second part of hyperfixations. Okay, so return to this after getting the platinum trophy. We are 1 platinum trophy richer, so let's talk about it. I think the hardest trophy to get out of this was the fantasy finally, right? There was not really a part in the trophy list that I truly, like, deeply struggled with, if I'm being honest. And I'm not, like, saying that to be braggadocious. I think that if you play through the game once and you, like, I don't know, you sit down and you kind of, like, get a hang of the controls, you can pretty much do everything the rest of it pretty easily, if I'm being honest. So for me, the hardest one was just this one because you just had to go through the entire thing all over again. Hardest boss in hard mode, even after we finish Ultima, I'm still sticking with Barnabas. Barnabas took me so many tries. I got stuck on the Zantetsuken like meter for like an hour. I just couldn't get it, and part of it was because I picked like a bad loadout, a bad set of icons. I had, what did I have? I had Ultima, I had Odin, and I had Garuda. Those are my 3, and they were hard, dude. Charging up your own Zantetsuken to fight against it was such a bane of my existence. Now, I think that one trophy that is like a total grind though was this one, where you had to like you basically earn this as you go around again for the second time, right? You go around the second time and you earn your ability points once again. And so this one felt like a little bit of a grind, especially when you were like fighting off little bits of enemies just to like, you know, skim off the top of some ability points. So this one felt like a grind, but it was not that bad. I think the most annoying trophy though was this one. The You're Not the Boss of Me. The You're Not the Boss of Me one is the trophy where you had to beat a boss without taking any damage at all. And only certain bosses counted. So I think like if you wanted to try to take on Titan without getting any damage, that's how you can earn it. Try to take on Benedicta or Barnabas or Bahamut without any damage. But I chose for the easiest one, which is the Midnight Raven. But what it meant was, if I took even like 1 bit of damage, I had to start this level all over again from the beginning just to get it, just to make it eligible. It was a really annoying fight. So that was the annoying trophy. So all in all, I would say that the difficulty rating for getting this game, or for getting platinum in this game, is about a 2 out of 10. It is going to take you more time than it is going to take you more effort, if that makes sense. I don't think it's that bad. I think if you wanted like a good, easy trophy to kind of like sit down with for a week, try this one out. It's pretty fun. It's a really good time. But here is the 9 other trophies that I have, right? I have Skyrim, Kingdom Hearts 3, Far Cry 3, Remake. God, if I already had my Rebirth Platinum, crazy. Saints Row 3, Batman Arkham Asylum, Final Fantasy 15, Detroit Become Human, and Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. Those are the ones I have platinumed on. Right? And this is how I would rank it, right? This is how I would rank, like, my journey going through them, right? Based on ease, based on how interesting the trophies were. So this is how I would. So where does Final Fantasy 16 place in all this? 5. It's I would say that the hard mode is not, like, super duper interesting. It's the same thing. The thing that I think makes Final Fantasy VII Remake really interesting is that hard mode adds like new things to it. If you play hard mode in Final Fantasy Remake, the bosses have new moves, things are way harder, and like there's just new and interesting things to do. And you can't use items, you can't use I think you really have to depend on prayer if you don't have, you know, a cure level all the way up. So that's why hard mode for 7 is so much harder. And so I wouldn't say that it's like bad, but I wouldn't say that it's like the most interesting. So in terms of platinum, you know, getting the platinum trophy. So that is that. I beat Ultima on the first try, got the platinum trophy, and wrote the Final Fantasy book. It's actually just fan fiction. It's actually just my my Dion x Joshua fan fiction, Aymar. I see what you mean. I see what you mean, Defo Not. That it's like kind of open-ended. I think it's less open-ended. I think it's pretty open and shut that he died, but I can see where you're coming from in that. And then Shula catches him with her boat and saves the day. She's running around that boat like... I think that Josh survived. That there's one scene Clive gets his ass kicked by Barney, and that Josh heals him, and that the Phoenix can mend flesh, and the mind must recover on its own. You know what? Part of me actually believes that. I think that between Clive and Joshua, I think there's a chance that Joshua survived. Personally, I think he's like dead. Like that's my like general feeling. But I'm like 40% there with you, where I'm like, okay, Josh could have survived, I suppose. Like the Phoenix mending the wound in his chest, and at that point, like Clive also looks like he's kind of been like able to move past that a little bit, you know what I mean? Where there's part of me that kind of feels like, okay, maybe. Again, I'm like 30-40% like believing it. I generally just think he's dead. I think both of the Rossfield boys are dead. Much to my chagrin. I love them. Like how I think it went, right? My theory is that Joshua wrote that book during his time with like Hyote and the people who like run the Phoenix cult, and then he died. But then there's also the possibility that he did survive and he ended up writing the book. Final Fantasy, Joshua Rossfield. He wrote the first game, you guys. He wrote the first game, and you know what? It was bad. It was a bad game. I can't believe Joshua wrote it. Sorry, Joshy. Didn't mean to hate on your game, dude. Okay. Let me hold this open as we say our goodbyes. Here's the moment. I'll hold this moment for us. There we go. Beautiful. The moment we got the trophy.
A sky of scattered tears, 1,000 years apart. Should they